It's live on Facebook.
Shalom lekulam, Shabbat shalom. Welcome everyone to our weekly Kabbalat Shabbat. I'm so happy to see again so many friends and partners. And since I see on today's Kabbalat Shabbat new faces from all over the world, I'll start by explaining the context of this event. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Vered Israeli, the director of the Haifa-Boston Connection, which is the CJP office in Israel. When we all asked to stay at home because of the coronavirus, I initiated these weekly Kabbalot Shabbat. For the past 10 weeks, the Haifa-Boston Connections family meet on the same day, the same hour, to light Shabbat candles, to have 1 hour of nachat, an hour that strengthens ourselves by the spirit of our togetherness. Every week, volunteers from Haifa and Boston planned and designed the weekly program together. This Kabbalat Shabbat, which is going to be a little bit longer than usual, is dedicated to 4,000 Ethiopian Jews who diminished during their journey to Israel. Ethiopian Jews who dreamed on Jerusalem but didn't enter the Promised Land. It is so symbolic that this memorial event is happening on the same week in which the first ever Ethiopian woman, Pnina Tamanu Shata, was nominated to be the Minister of Absorption on the Israeli Knesset. It is a symbol of pride and victory, a symbol of hope and success. The Haifa-Boston Connection was established 30 years ago by the CJP during the huge wave of immigration from former Soviet Union to Israel. The partnership started playing a central role in helping newcomers to Israel from Russia in 1989 and continue its effort while the Ethiopian Jews start arriving to Haifa. The Ethiopian Jury Committee of the Haifa-Boston Connection created a huge difference on lives of thousands thanks to mega programs we initiated, Shiluvim, Netivim, and Korat. All these projects ensure better future to the newcomers. My appreciation to the Ethiopian Jury Committee members for the ongoing commitment. Special thanks to our amazing volunteers who are designing every minute of today's event. Diane Richler, Ruth Aronson, Shira Levin, Judy Sachs, Oshra Friedman, Shoshi Weitzman, Shoshi Idan, Eti Zeidner, and Shoshi Tasema Nagosa. Many thanks to our professional staff, Sai Friedland and Danit Laish. It couldn't happen without both of you. תודה גדולה to Ariel, Meir, and Kerem for your big neshama and the technical support. My appreciation to Beta Tfutzot for the involvement and the important help. And above all, תודה רבה וגדולה from the bottom of our heart to the participants on this Kabbalat Shabbat, people who are going to make the upcoming hour so meaningful. Rabbi Dr. Sharon Shalom, Mr. Larry Rubenstein, Ayala Indegest, Shoshi Tesama Nagosa, Brano Taganya, and Oshra Friedman. Oshra is the co-chair of the Ethiopian Jury Committee in Haifa, who is now going to MC this event. Thank you. Oshrat on mute.
Going and talking. Thank you, Vered. Everybody can hear me now? Thank you, Vered, for your wonderful words. This event is unique and combines dream, loss, and pain, fulfilling 2,500 years of vision and hope. I want to thank to all the committee members and staff who worked hard on this event on both sides of the world, Boston and Haifa. It's not taken for granted to produce such a very emotional event from remote. I want to invite the first guest. Most of you in Boston have probably heard of Rabbi Dr. Sharon Shalom. Rabbi Sharon Shalom Zodeh, senior lecturer and head of International Center for the Study of the Ethiopian Journey on Ono Academic College in Israel, and serves as well as a rabbi of the Kedushai Israel community in Kiryat Gat. Rabbi Sharon Shalom, Bechavod.
Shabbat Shalom, and be relaxed. I'm going to stick with you in English, but no in Hebrew. You know, the question is, what is Jerusalem for me? I remember that the very word Jerusalem had magical qualities. Hearing its spoken was enough to steal one's soul and steal hope. You know, all our thought and deeds were directed toward Jerusalem. My grandfather and teacher, the late Abba Dejen Gidon Mengesha, would sit with us under a shady tree in our village and tell us stories of Jerusalem, reading passage from the Orit, the Metzahaf Kedus, the Bible, Tanakh, and quoting the prophets who recalled God's promise to gather his people to Israel, to Jerusalem. I asked my grandfather, Saba, Grandpa, when will the time be when God gather everyone in Jerusalem? My grandfather replied with always the same, no. I realized that during 2,000 years of exile, each generation was promised to the next generation now. I used to say, therefore, if Ethiopian telling you now, please don't believe him because may take 2,000 years. But secondly, don't believe to philosopher Nietzsche that he told us that hope is an illusion. Hope is not an illusion. Hope is reality. We are here in Jerusalem after 2,000 years of exile. But, you know, I want to tell you something, what happened immediately when the Qassim arrived to Jerusalem. Soon after Operation Moses, the spiritual leaders of the Ethiopian Jewish community, the Qassim were invited on a tour of Jerusalem. The last stop that the day was the Western Wall Plaza. One Qassim raised his hand and asked, "Where is Jerusalem?" Jacob, the Jewish agency guy, answered, "We have been in Jerusalem all day, and now we are at the Kotel." The case then asked, "And where is the temple? Efo Bet HaMikdash?" Jacob pointed toward the Temple Mount. At that moment, they all fell to the ground, protecting themselves and crying like children. So Jerusalem is a connect between dream and reality. And also, I am use like Oshra Friedman mentioned, I am Rabbi at Kedoshei Yisrael, a congregation established by Holocaust survivor in Kiryat Gat. After they decided to accept me as a rabbi, the reporter from well-known newspaper asked the Holocaust survivor, "Why did you get an Ethiopian rabbi, black, Oive Izmir?" And they answered that they did not know Ethiopian, they knew Sharon. They told him, "How can you imagine that? After what they did to us in the Holocaust as a Jewish, we will select a rabbi for the color of his skin." We were looking for knowledge, not color. Secondly, Jerusalem connect between people, Holocaust, Ethiopian, Russian, Jewish, non-Jewish. And the third, the Midrash tell us that of father and son who were walking in the desert, well, the son asked when they would get to the settlement. The father answered that when you see a cemetery, that will be a sign that you have arrived at a settlement. We lost a lot of people in the way from Ethiopia to Sudan, and we continue to carry our dead in our shoulders here, even today. But we must remember that in their days, they give us a life. Therefore, Jerusalem also connect, מחברת בין החיים לבין המתים. In closing, I'm sure that Ethiopian Jews, like Jerusalem also, they can use a bridge and bring people to be together, Ethiopian Jews. Therefore, the story of the Aliyah of Ethiopian community can serve as a positive example of modern Jewish solidarity. Like what's going on here. It's amazing. It's amazing. Jewish from Boston, from all the world, and now we're together. I would say that after the Ethiopian Aliyah, the state of Israel has become a living museum of Judaism, where Jewish representing different periods of our history and different culture all live together. This is the most surprising thing of all, that member of a single nation which was scattered around the globe thousands of years ago, came together both physically as well as spiritually and became one flesh. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Baruch Hashem. So I would like to include with the, except, the song from Nomi Shemer, not Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Omrim Yeshna Eretz. I very like the last Abaita Acharon, say, "Good day, Rabbi Akiva. Good day, Rabbi Akiva. Where are all the holy people? Where are the holy people? Where are the Maccabi?" Rabbi Akiva answered him, "All Israel is holy, and you are a Maccabi." My friend, Yom Yerushalayim, Jewish from Boston, Jewish from here, Jewish, non-Jewish, everything. I feel that all of you you are a holy people. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell together. Shabbat Shalom, Yom Yerushalayim Sameach, and I'm so happy to be with you at the present.
Thank you, Rabbi Sharon Shalom. I always will say that no matter what and no matter how many times I can hear your lecture and your Dvar Torah, and every time I get excited, thank you for the privilege to be with us. For the culture part, it's my honor to present one of the singers with the heavenly voice. Ayala Ngideshet is a singer and artist, one of the early Ethiopian singers in Israel who has a major label deal. Ayala, please take it away from here.
Shabbat Shalom. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm going to sing for you now. תן לי ללכת באור. תן לי ללכת באור, לשאת עיניים פקוחות לרווחה, גם בדרכים אפורות, הראה לי שקיעה אדומה וסגולה, גע בנפשי הרכה, ושים בליבי חמלה עמוקה. תן בידיים מלאכה ועשה של מה שאוכל להבין ולהבדיל בין טוב לרע. חדד את אוזניי הכהות כדי שאשמע את קולך. של זריחה מדויק, חום מאופק, מתגלה לאט. תן לי ללכת באור, לשאת עיניי פקוחות לרווחה, גם בדרכים אפורות, הראה לי שקיעה אדומה וסגולה, גם בנפשי הרכה, ושים בליבי חמלה עמוקה. תן בידיים מלאכה ועשה של מה שאוכל להבין ולהבדיל בין טוב לרע. חדד את אוזניי הכהות כדי שאשמע את קולך. של זריחה מדויק, חום מאופק, מתקרב לאט, מה מתגלה? הנה האור עולה. מתקרב לאט, מה מתגלה? הנה האור עולה.
I don't know what about you all, but I'm kind of speechless. Thank you, Ayala, for a wonderful singing and wonderful words. A cultural touches event marking Jerusalem Day and the Memorial Day of those who pressured on their way to Eretz Israel. It is our opportunity also to hear the stories from their own voice of the people who took the journey and make it to Israel. Each one of us from Beta Israel is having a voice, a story. I invite our next guest, who is a source of pride to us all, for being one of the leaders in the media and the press in the country. Rohanu Tagania, award-winning news report, who investigates the reports of racism in Israel, particularly when it gets to do with the Ethiopian community, have even been a very famous figure in the Israeli TV. Every night at the channel, we are waiting for him. And this is the opportunity for you all, dear guests, from all over the world. We have guests from Spain, England, New York, and all over United States and Israel to ask questions via chat to Brahano. Please make sure when you write the question, please add your name and where you are coming from. We will look at the 2-3 key questions and we'll ask Brahano to answer. Brahano, thank you for being with us. Take it away.
Okay, what a Kabbalat Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
As
shalom.
a Shah say, my name is Vanu Taganya, and in the last 10 years, I'm covering in Channel 2 police affairs and criminal issues, but side by side, in the last decade, I was covering the whole story of the Ethiopian Jews, and particularly what's going on after we came here, why there are so many problems. We are talking about racism, we are talking about discrimination, and we are talking about police brutality. And why it's happened? Why, when I was when I was a child, I mean, when I was 10 years old, when I came to Israel, I remember the way that society accept us. I remember when we came to Arad, and the social worker in Markaz Klita, an observation center in Arad, she told us, welcome to Arad, and the whole children, we were looking at our parents and asking, what is Arad? We don't know, there's nothing about Arad. Where is Jerusalem? And one of the social workers, she was Ethiopian social workers, she say, Arad is a little Jerusalem. And the whole children will say, okay, we are in little Jerusalem. And I remember that day when the whole city came to the Markaz Klita, the observation center, and accept us. And they were so happy. But during the time, we start to realize racism. As a child, I remember the first day before they sent us to the school, the elementary school in Arad, that social worker gathered the whole children and they say, when you go to the school, you will hear the first time the word Kushi, Shahor, Ethiopia. And we ask, why? What does it mean? Imagine at the first time, in the age of 10, 11, you hear the first time the word racism. It was shock for us. Why? Our parents told us we are going home. And in my home, people will point me and they say, you now belong to here? I said to myself, it will never happen. I said to myself, I have to be part of the society, not only the part of society, I want to be in the place that I can lead something. I can move the situation and not respond the situation. And I understand that I have to be in the position that I can make a decision, in the position that I have to say something, not only to hear. And that motivates me each time to fight against racism, to fight against discrimination. In my home, in my place, I have to feel safe and not to be like, fear every time and to respond every time. That motivates me to be where I'm here now. And when I got to Channel 2 TV station, and I start to research and to learn why if they bring us here and they told us this is our home, why there is so much problems. And understand there is a direct line between what's going on now here in Israel society to what happened before Operation Solomon, before Operation Moses. Because our heroes, like Ferede Aklu, I don't know if you know the names, but I will mention them, like Yona Bogal, like Zimna Brano, like Baruch Tagania, and a lot of heroes. They push the Israel government to accept that there are Ethiopian Jews. And no one during 70s, 80s, and 60s, no one want to accept here in Jerusalem, as we call it in Jerusalem, no one want to accept that there are Ethiopian Jews. Even if in 90s, in 50 or 40, during the 20th century, there was a great Jewish searcher that Yaakov Paitalovich, and he came here to Israel after he made the Beta Israel in Ethiopia, in those little village, and told the people here in Jerusalem, please bring them back home. They are Ethiopian Jews, no one to accept. But those heroes, Ethiopian Jewish heroes, they make a lot of pressure in Israel government. And they make the dream to become true with involvement, a great involvement of the American Jews at that time. And they pressure to Israel government. They had to make that amazing operations. Operation Shlomo and Operation Moses. It's like no one in Hollywood, they imagine this kind of operations. But this operation happened because of those Ethiopian Jews. They are our heroes because they make that push, they make that start. And what happened in 70s and 60s, there is, as I told before, a direct line to what happened here now in Israel. In my during this, in my job in the TV channel, I covered so many stories that the more I cover them, the more I become shocked how it can be in our land, in our place. But in the other side, I see the success of the Ethiopian Jews. We are only 4 decades here in Israel, as you mentioned, and such amazing. One of my friends, Prina Tamanu, she is now a minister, okay? And there is Gadi Varken, is a deputy minister. And there are a lot of lawyers, there are a lot of engineers, doctors, police officers. We are in the whole place. We are in a whole situation, and we are in our country, and we are struggle from not the position of foreigners, but from the position of this is our country, and we have to make our struggle to be part of the Israeli society. And I think the contribute of the Ethiopian Jewish to the whole Israeli society, it's a lot, because of, even if there are a lot of problems, even if there are a lot of difficulties, but we are still fighting, we are still struggling. Imagine what happened in those in 60s and 70s. Here, the Israeli government in the beginning didn't want to accept Beta Israel. They say they are Jewish, they are not Jewish, we have to how to absorb them, and we have now still going the same sound and the same situation now is still going with Ethiopian Jewish. There are still 8,000 Ethiopian Jews who are waiting in Gondar and in Addis in Ethiopia more than 2 decades. Each government, they say, we'll bring the Ethiopian Jews. Each government, they say, we'll bring all the people here, but still they are waiting there. And at the end, the whole story and the whole struggle will depend on us. We have to make the change. We are the one who can make the change. And I mean, when I say we, I mean for the Ethiopian Jewish community. And I want to tell you one story that can maybe tell you the whole story. There is a soldier. His name is Damas Fakadu. Now he is an officer. Before 5 years ago, he was, and he served in a cyber unit in IDF, and he was going to celebrate his birthday. He came to Israel with his mother and with 5 brothers before 20 years ago. And after he joined the army, and when he came to celebrate his birthday, 3 police, they just attack him in a very brutal way. I was going from my TV station to my home, and one of my sources from the military called me, and he said, "Did you see the movies in WhatsApp? The movies that I sent you?" I said, "No, I'm driving." And he told me, "You have to see it now." And he say a word that never tell to a TV reporter. And he said, "I think the movies that I told you, I sent you, I think it's in the hand of another reporter from another channel." At that time, and I stop in the middle of highway. And when I see, I was shocked. 3 Israeli police officers attacking in a brutal way Israeli soldiers with his dress, an IDF dress, and he is Ethiopian Jew. At that time, I say, oh my God. Because to us, to Ethiopian Jew, to be part of IDF is like the dream come true. And when the police officers attack him, and there was only one security camera And that police, my source, he wasn't Ethiopian Jewish. And when he told me, at that time, someone from Holon, where that Damas lives, someone told me, you have to come now. The police officer beat Ethiopian Jew. And when I bring that story, it was amazing. A lot of thousands of Ethiopian Jews came to Rabin Square and came to the Ayalon, one of the main highway in Tel Aviv, in Israel. And they demonstrate. They demonstrate and they say, enough is enough. And that was only the intriguer. That thousands of people, when came to Kikar Rabin, to Square of Rabin, I was interviewing teenagers. And I told them, why you came here? Why? Someone told me that there is a discrimination in a school. Someone told me that there is a discrimination in Canyon, in Mall Center. A lot of stories that come together that bring the story of our situation in our home. And at that time, I understand that enough is enough, because the people, most of the Ethiopian Jewish, most of the people that are born here, they feel Israel, they feel, they speak Israel, they live Israel, but they don't feel part of Israel. And we can't let this situation go on and going on. And that time, I remember, in the first time, the Israeli government, they say, yes, there is racism. They say, yes, there is discrimination. And they say, yes, there is police brutality. And they are making a change. And the first time, the Israeli government understand that if they want to solve those kind of problems, the government has to work with the Ethiopian Jews together. They can't make a decision for us. They have to take us at the part of solution, not at the part of problems. And they understand. And there is hope. And there is a little bit change, even if we are facing with a lot of problems. Avraham Mengistu is still in Gaza. What's going on? And we ask always the Israeli government, what's going on with Avraham Mengistu? He is now maybe 4 years from, it was before 5 years, I think so, or 4 years. I'm sorry, it's a lot of time. And the last year, police officer shoot an Israeli teenager, Salomon Taka. Now there is, in the court, there is, they charge him, the police officer. We have problems, but the whole, when we see the whole picture, there is a beginning of change. Why? Because we are part of the solution. We are not the problem. They understand now that we are not the problem. And I'm optimist, okay? I believe that change will become. I believe that the Israeli government will bring the whole 8,000 Jews that are waiting to come home. I hope so. Now we have 2 ministers, okay? Pnina and Gadi Varken, and they are making a lot of pressures. And I have to tell you, during the election, in the first time, during the Israeli election, the Ethiopian Jewish, it was the main agenda of the two big parties. In the one side, Benjamin Netanyahu, in the other side, Kahol Lavan, like Benny Gantz, they were making the Ethiopian Jewish in the topic agenda. And I say, oh, this is, it starts. Now it starts. They understand, and they have to deal with the Ethiopian Jewish. And it makes me to understand that we are part of the Israeli society, and we are not looking by side what's going on in our home. And if I have questions, welcome.
Thank you, brother. So I have a list, and we try to take the top of the questions, although all the questions are great. So I'm going to start with the one from Judith Baruch from Haifa. You came to be a senior journalist on the Israeli TV. Was the way to the top was difficult?
Okay. First, there is no short way. Yes, it was very difficult. Before I came to Channel 2, I was working in the local newspaper, and after that I enjoyed the local TV channel that dedicated to the Ethiopian Jewish community. And the first opportunity who gives me it was in the Israeli Ethiopian channel, IETV we call them, and the CEO of that channel, his name is Fasil Legese, and they give me to make a lot of mistakes, and they teach me what is this media, how to make television, how to make a documentary film. They teach me a lot. And I remember when I told him, to Fasil, if during 4 years, if I will not be part of Channel 2, I will open my office to be lawyer. And he told me, I'm sure you will be part of Channel 2. And when I came to Channel 2 in the first time, I was shocked. I see those people's, as a child who born in Arad, have never seen in TV channel someone who looks like me. The only person that I saw who likes me, his name is Adisu Masele. He was activist. He was a member of Knesset. In the 90s, when we came here to Israel, something very extremely happened. The Minister of Health, they throw our blood. And I remember there was a big demonstration. I want to be there. And my parents, they say, no, you can't. It's dangerous. But in the first time I see on channel, in the television, the Ethiopian Jewish, he was talking in a very strong way. And I asked my father, who is that person? He told me his name is Adisu Masele. And what he's doing, Dad, Abba, I want to like him. And my father told me, if you want, you can be, it's up to you. But now I bring you here. Now, when I came to Channel 2 in the first time, I see those peoples that I saw them in my salon, and I was shocked. Wow, they are real, they are person. But I didn't see someone that I can't be like him. And suddenly I see someone that put them a makeup on him, and there was a kippah in his head. And I asked one of them, who is that guy? They told me his name is Amit Segal. Amit Segal, okay. And what he's doing here? He's a reporter. Okay. And after that, I saw someone, she was religious and Datiya. And I said, who is that person? They told me, Sivan Rav Meir. And what is she doing here? She's the reporter. And the very amazing moment when I saw someone in the name of Tatiana Hoffman, and she is, has an accent, an East European accent, and I told them, who is she? She is a reporter. At that time, I say, if those 3% that's not in the mainstream of the Israeli society, if they are in Channel 2, I can be. And at that time, I said, I can be part of Channel 2. It wasn't easy because I'm no one and I have no connection. Now, at this time, every door open, okay? But I was inspired by those 3 peoples that I saw them, and I start work. And I use a lot of time my color and my community to bring a scope, to bring special stories. Because I remember in the first time when I sent to bring some story, there was a car accident and police officers were there, and from my car, I bring a vest, and that is written Nikayon, like a housekeeper, okay? And no one believed that Branu he is a TV reporter. I just get into a close scene, I heard everything, I write everything, and I bring the story to the Channel 2. But there wasn't easy. It was difficult, but I believe in myself, and God bless me really that we call it Ahavat Chinam. And people everywhere where I go, they open the door for me. They help everywhere. They help me, and I in my mind that I say I have 150,000 people behind me, Ethiopian Jews. They will help me, and I have to prove to everyone that I can make it. If I will make it, I will open to the other people from my community. And now, Baruch Hashem, you see everywhere in TV, in main TV station, Ethiopian Jewish, in the leading point. We have in channel 10, in channel 13. We have in the radio, and I forget someone. I have to tell you. And when the first time I got to the Jerusalem, it was when there was a Sigd, is our holiday.
We just need to make it even a little bit short because our time is really short today.
And the other question, okay.
No, it's okay. I just want to tell you, first of all, thank you for sharing the whole story. And we have a bunch of questions, but unfortunately, I'm getting these WhatsApp messages saying that we don't have enough time to let you on. So thank you very much for taking part. We know how busy you are and very demanded, and it's not easy for us to cut you up, but thank you. It was very moving. Please go into the chat, and there's questions. If you are able to answer them on the chat, that will be helpful. Our cultural touches events have quite a few partners who over the years became natural partners and family members. One of the bodies dedicated so much very involved in our community is the Museum of the Jewish People, Bet HaTfutzot. Some of the team of the Bet HaTfutzot are here, and I take this opportunity to say thank you to one person from the team, Racheli Kaplan, who has worked very hard on this archive so we can have this presentation to present to you all. Please go on. Danit. Thank you. It takes memories. The story of the rise of the Jewish of Beta Israel is told in hundreds, if not thousands of ways. We are delighted to be honored by this opportunity to have our own guest, Rabbi Larry Rubinstein, who was accompanying a group of Ethiopians on their historic journey to Jerusalem. Rabbi Rubinstein, please. You'll be lighting the memorial candle in the memory of 4,000 Ethiopian Jews who perished along the way, including missing people until this day.
It's my great honor to be part of this program and to think back at what we did when I was the executive director of the Young Leadership Cabinet of United Jewish Appeal, a group of about 300 young men from all over the United States who had been nominated by their local communities to be the next generation of Jewish leadership. And we were training them to become that kind of leader. One of the most important messages that we had for them is what was called Pidyon Shavuim, the redemption of captives. And we were approached, the Young Leadership Cabinet was approached to help get Ethiopian Jews out of Ethiopia. There had been some work done on their behalf by Israelis, but there was no official recognition of Israel by the Ethiopian government. This was 1981. The Ethiopian government was communist, and there was no recognition by the United States of the Ethiopian government. So we were approached as private citizens who would have to travel on tourist visas. We couldn't be as a kind of delegation, a small group of us. We flew into Ethiopia. We had been briefed by members of the State Department in the United States, but there was no official recognition, so it wasn't done at the State Department. It was always done off premises. And we came to Ethiopia. We traveled up to the Gondar province, and we helped to escort about 600 Ethiopian Jews from the Gondar region into the Sudan. And the reason that we went into the Sudan was because it was possible to bring airplanes into the Sudan because there was no real government in the Sudan. And all we had to do was deal with the local tribal chieftains. We brought people across. It was about 150 miles that we had to go. And along the way, and by the way, the Ethiopian Jews traveled as family groups. So you had grandfathers, parents, children, all traveling together in this group of 600, and some elderly people. And we lost a few along the way. and we had to bury them in places where probably there will be no memorials ever for them, because it was in the middle of the wilderness. And finally, we got to the Sudan, and we waited for airplanes to come for us. And we finally, after a little while, some unmarked airplanes painted white. I recognized them as C-130s, the Hercules. And we didn't know where they were from. We didn't know who was flying them, but we knew those were the planes we were supposed to get on. We got on 300 in each plane. There weren't any seats. We were all sitting on the floor. We were covered with straps and nets. That was how we were kept from being bounced around. And we didn't really know how we were going to go. But once we got up in the air, and I was able to hear the pilot and co-pilot talking to each other, I knew that we were going to Israel because they were speaking Hebrew. And when we finally landed in Israel, there were buses waiting for us, and we were taken up to Jerusalem. When we got to Jerusalem, interestingly enough, one of the older gentlemen on the trip who had been wearing an amulet, a talisman, a good luck charm around his neck, came up to me and said, we are now in Jerusalem. This is my good luck charm, and I've been wearing it for all these years, waiting to get into to Jerusalem. Now I am in Jerusalem, and I don't need this charm anymore. So you're going back to the United States. You need it. So here is the charm for you to protect you. And I've kept it ever since. And I thought about that and what Jerusalem has meant to these people, to all of us as Jews all over the world, but especially to the Ethiopians who could not get there except for outside help. And we ended up celebrating with them and then flying back to the United States. However, our thoughts were always with those who could not make the trip. And so I have here a memorial candle, which I am going to light in memory of all of the Ethiopian Jews who were not able to complete the trip to the Aliyah to Israel and to Jerusalem. And Baruch Dayan HaEmet, blessed is the true judge. We are so grateful for those of you who are able to get to Jerusalem and to live in Israel. Whatever the problems, whatever the issues are that you have to contend with, it is a land of freedom for all Jews, and eventually everyone will be equal there. But right now, we understand the fight that you have to get your equality, and we support you in every way. So, Toda Rabah, and thank you for being able to be part of this program.
Thank you, Rabbi Larry Rubinstein. Thank you for everyone who made it happen so we can reach Larry Rubinstein and completed this puzzle for this event. Now Ayala will take us to the second song. Please, Ayala.
Que l'histoire que tellement تعيش الكرام بعملك عندنا que l'histoire que tellement تعيش الكرام بعملك عندنا قوتشن بيسرو بيوم تمارتو قتاي انت عيد الله يا نانا فقطو يعرفون النور برايا كربلا እንደገና ደግሞ አሶሮ ከተራመደ በመጥፎ ጎዳና ዞሮ ለመመለስ ያዳግታልና ሰው ካተራደመ በመጥፎ ጎዳና ዞሮ ለመመለስ ያዳግታል። אמא ספרי לי עוד פעם איך אני הגעתי לכאן על המסע במדבר, איך עזבנו בלילה,
כל שם נשאר,
סחבנו איתנו רק כמה קדים של מים ולחם שלא מתקלקל אפילו אחרי חודשיים. יצאנו בחושך על סוסים וחמורים, התקדמנו בשקט ימים ארוכים. ספרי איך סחבת אותי בתוך בד על הגב, ואיך שתינו מעט שנזל ממנו חלב. אמא ספרי לי עוד פעם אחת על המסע מאתיופיה, את החלום שלך הגשמת, בשבילי את הכי גיבורה. אמא ספרי לי עוד פעם אחת על המסע מאתיופיה, את החלום שלך הגשמת, אמא שלי את הכי גיבורה. אמא ספרי לי עוד פעם איך אני הגעתי לכאן על המסע במדבר, איך עזבנו בלילה,
כל שם נשאר,
צעדנו בלילות וישנו בימים, ואת רחצת אותי בנהר הקר ביניהם. ספרי לי עוד פעם על האישה הערבייה שמרחה עליי חלב עזים ששוב אהיה בריאה, איך אהבת להכין בובות קטנות מחמר, אולי הן עדיין באמבור, אולי משהו שם עוד נשמר. אמא ספרי לי עוד פעם אחת על המסע מאתיופיה, את החלום שלך הגשמת, בשבילי את הכי גיבורה. אמא ספרי לי עוד פעם אחת על המסע מאתיופיה, את החלום שלך הגשמת, אמא שלי את הכי גיבורה. וואללי, 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 אמא שלי את הכי גיבורה.
Wow, Ayala, thank you. And I'm just gonna call a short version of the song when she says, "My mom is the greatest from all of the women and the parents." And I think when we talk about the journey that we took, the real heroes are our parents who just took the decision to leave everything behind so they can be able to live and make it into Jerusalem. Ayala, thank you. I always have my tears when I hear this song. I would like to invite Shoshi Tesema Neguse, a member on the Ethiopian committee in Haifa, to light the Shabbat candles. Please, Shoshi.
Thank you, Oshwa. My name is Shoshi Tesema Neguse, and I'm 30 years old. I was born in Israel, but my parents came from Ethiopia in 1984 as part of Operation Moses. My family stayed in the refugee camp of Kuba for 6 months, and on December 1984, they came to Ethiopia. I heard my family story for many, many times, but recently the story took a new meaning for me as I became a new mom. I believe that this is my duty, my brothers and my sister's duty to tell our story, the story of our community, the story about strength, faith, hope, and never giving up. I'm very honored and very humbled for choosing me for lighting these Shabbat candles. So join me and let's light this candle together. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידש מצוותיו וציוונו.
Thank you, Sheshi. And thank you for everyone for taking part on this Kabbalat Shabbat in a unique way, in a different way, and with cultural touches, which is our biggest event in our community. I also want to thank you for taking part to everyone for weeks after weeks from all over the country to be here with us every Friday. And this is what keeps us together, family, one heart, one nation, one human being. And I now transfer the moderator to Vered, who would like to say a few words. Love you all.
Hello, everyone. I can't tell you how inspiring I am from this Kabbalat Shabbat, and I would like again to thank each and every one of you to join to this Kabbalat Shabbat. It is a personal honor to see here the central leaders from Haifa and Boston, from Israel and United States, who took a central role in creating a change, in bringing a difference to the Ethiopian community. And I just would like to mention a few of them that were and still partners in the Haifa-Boston Connections vision to make a change for the community. I would like to thank Barry Schreck, the former president of the CJP, Yona Yahav, the former mayor of Haifa, who is here with us today, Nancy Kaufman, the ambassador, Blainesh Mekonnen, Benjamin Akalom, the author, the educator, the activist, and Sigal Kanutopsky from Maoz and Olim Beyachad, and so many other leaders. Without you, the story of the Ethiopian Jewry in Israel would look totally different. Thank you so much. And for the next week, just to mention that this Tuesday is going to be a special meeting for Shavuot with Susan Maslow, who is the co-chair of the Living Bridges Committee. Next Friday, we won't have a Kabbalat Shabbat because of Shavuot. And on June 5th, we're going to have additional Kabbalat Shabbat with Ruth Kaplan and the General Consulate, the Israeli Consulate in Boston. And I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, and thanks again for this event.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.